Hi, welcome to Switching Mindsets. This is Anuradha, and today we're speaking to Shweta Singh Kirti, author of Pain, A Portal to Enlightenment. Shweta, who had to deal with the pain of losing her brother, actor Sushant Singh Rajput, at the age of 34 in the public eye, believes that while pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Through her book, she hopes to help others who are grieving find inner peace. Hi, Shweta.
Namaste, namaste, Anuradha.
Namaste.
Hi. Thank you for having me on your podcast. How about we start with a chant? Would you
Sure.
like that?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay. Okay. We all can close our eyes. Okay. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Hari Om. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Shweta, for the lovely beginning. And first of all, before we start, thank you for doing this. First of all, writing the book, which you called a universal responsibility. And
Yes.
yeah, and also, like sharing your pain with us. I know it is never easy, So thank
Yeah.
you for this, and let's start. So why don't we start with your memories of Sushant? And he's
Mm-hmm.
been a much loved star, right, in India,
Yeah.
and people
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
have not forgotten him, right? So, what are your
Yeah.
memories and the joy that you feel when you think of him? Could you share how was he as a child, and how do you as a
Okay.
family celebrate him?
Yes. Yes. For sure. So, now Sushant is just not a name. He has become an emotion, an inspiration for so many, right? He actually uh, tells, like, he basically inspires so many of us in so many different ways, right? What he stood for, the curiosity he stood for, the purity he stood for, right? You could have seen it in his eyes. You could have seen that innocence and that charm in his smile, right? As a child, he was very shy, an introvert. We hardly saw him speak, right? But he was naughty as well. It was not that he wasn't naughty, but he was very shy and very pure, very innocent. So because we were the youngest in the family, so he was just a year younger than me, right? And we were the youngest in the family, so we were very sheltered and protected by our elder ones, right? So we never had to go in front of the guests or do anything, any of that, like where you have to interact with whoever is coming to your family and all that. Yeah, we were always in our zone, in our cocoon. We'll be playing and we'll be having fun. So, we never learned this, you could call it social norms. And in a way, it was good for us, right? It saved us from all the social conditionings. So, yeah. So that was Bhai.
Yeah,
And,
love.
yeah, what I really want to kind of tell about him is, we can know a lot about a person by just looking at the person, you know and we saw that twinkle in his eyes that actually showed the purity of his heart, don't you think? And the innocent smile he had, the
Yeah,
way he would laugh from heart, right? That also showed how naive he was.
that's
He was
true. Mm.
intelligent, but innocent at the same time,
Yeah, and you said that
right?
you were like twins because just a year apart, and you were called Gudiya Gulshan, right? You spent all your time
Yes,
together. Yeah.
yes.
I can imagine how painful it is and how you have done so much work to transcend that pain, into
Yeah.
something loving and something that supports you. So tell me, I've read your book and you've been so honest in it. And I found out in the course of reading that this is
Mm,
not your first
mm,
encounter with grief. So you said that,
mm,
you had a eldest child in the family, your brother who passed away as an infant, and then later
So,
it was, yeah,
mm,
your
Mm.
sister. You were five
Sister.
sisters
Mm.
earlier, now you're four. So,
Mm.
Bobby Didi you've written,
Bobby D. Yeah.
and your mother when you were just
Mm.
around 17, 18, who you were very close to. So how has
Mm.
each experience been
Mm.
different? It's at different ages and, at different, and you were a different age, right? At all these
Yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah,
And also like
yeah.
Sushant, he was so young. Your sister was even younger. So how has each experience of grief been for you? How has it been different or same?
Mm. Mm. I remember when Bobby D passed, I was in UKG, right? And it was during the school time that we got to know about it. And my cousin brother came to my school and he picked me up from school. And then we went and picked Rani Di from school, and we were all going back. And when we reached home, I saw her body, wrapped in white cloth. And imagine how young I was, right? I was like that Dee is kind of just acting, you know. And I saw Mama crying a lot and she was very upset. Mama was, you know, like her heart was broken. She was really crying. And I was like, Dee, now please get up. Mama is very heartbroken. Please get up now. It's like, just be done with this acting, right? And I didn't understand that what death was in reality, that she's actually gone and never to come back in this physical body again, right? Like Bobby D again. So, uh, you know, that took time to kind of seep in. And Bobby D was a beautiful, beautiful person inside out. She was like an angel. So, like, she was very caring about us. Like, she was herself not even a teenager, but she was very caring. So I remember that every time we will come back from school, she will clean our legs for Bhai and I. She'll clean our legs, put some lotion on it and all that. So that's how she was, very caring, very giving. And yeah, I feel like like God calls, those people who are pure, early on, I feel. So that that hurt me, but I kind of uh, imbibed all her qualities. Like, I felt like if I have to not miss her, I have to live her, you know?
That's
I
beautiful.
thought that. Yeah, yeah. And then later, I remember, it was December of 2002, and I was in NIFT uh, studying at that time. And I remember that night I was lying down, and in the middle of the night, it must be around 3 a.m. or something. I saw this dream, and my eyes were a little open somehow. I saw Kalima coming, entering the door. I was lying down like this. She entered the door and she took something from my heart. Like, she plunged into my heart. Her hand went directly, and she had her tongue coming out all red and stuff. And she took out something. And the way she took it out, I almost got up and sat, you know. It was so powerful. And I felt like something was taken out from my heart, right? At that time, I almost knew that something has happened, but nobody had told me that. Next day morning, my teacher got a call from my D, and my teacher was told that Mama is no more, but they like, my sister told her not to tell me that, because I was all alone there and I was having my exams and stuff. So it wasn't told to me. Randi told me later on phone that, Bita, Mama is in coma. You come back and then we will hold her hand and we'll bring her back from coma. At that time, I didn't even know what coma is and all that. I just played along. I knew from my heart that mom is no more, but I just played along. Yes, we'll bring her out from coma and stuff. But somehow I knew that mom isn't there. But what happened after that was very, very crucial in a way, right? Of course, she was the foundation, right? I even when I'll go somewhere, I'll carry her sari with me so that I can smell of her, right? But when this happened, I remember I would always, struggle. Like I would want to be alone where I could just cry my heart off. But it opened me up to a psychic world. I don't know if I should be speaking of it, but I might as well speak about it. So, because I was so connected with my mother, I started seeing different souls who wasn't there, who had died, and different entities and all that. And I was like, like what is happening? But and I would see even angels. So it was just not dead people or something. I would see angels as well. So it opened me up. It opened my mind to a different dimension, to different realities. I understood that the world is just not this material world. There has to be more than this, you know so that happened. And I started practicing a lot of meditation, a lot of like existential question. I started asking, who are we, why are we here? No, I was always like this a little bit. I was always a weird child, little philosophical. I would always think, okay, fine, like in even when I was in fourth grade, I would write in my diary that I am an Atman. I have to be one with Paramatma. Self realization is my goal of life, God realization. And then, I'll be like, okay, fine, I will die and I'll become one with God. Then what will happen to God? When will God die? Will God never die? And then I'll start thinking, like my mind will completely fry. It will completely stop. So I have always been like this. But then, what this incident did was the death of my mother. It actually made me pursue it more in real sense. I really started thinking, no, I really want to find the answer of this. What happens to the loved one who dies? Where do they go? Do they not exist at all? After that, this happened. And, with time, my practices became very like structured in a way you could call. And I got to know about Ramana Maharshi. I got to know about direct technique. I got to know about different you know our scriptures, Upanishad, Vedanta, all of it. And then Bhai ka uh, thing happened, right? Bhai was no more, and in such a tragic way. The way it happened was like too much, right? He was doing so well. He was achieving, you know,
Yeah, I
in
think
the
all of us
world
were
and doing,
shocked. Yeah. It's a shock for
yeah,
everybody. Yeah.
yeah. And that was almost like it tested my spiritual practice. It did test my spiritual practice to the core. And I still remember the night, the same night. Okay, so on 11th of June, I had written to Bhai. Okay, so I am a little intuitive as well. When I was talking to you about the after the death of my mother, I started meditating a lot. I used to meditate on third eye and all that, and I started having a lot of psychic experiences, mystical experiences where I'm here, but once what happened, I was in Mountain View in California. I was in Mountain View. I was meditating at that time. We had just moved to California from Wisconsin, and over here I didn't have license, car license, driving license. Um, so I was at home meditating, and you know what happened? I saw my husband, what he's doing in his office. So I called him and I was like, are you right now entering an elevator? Is there a pot nearby? Is there an Asian lady with a bun? He was like, where are you? I am meditating at home. This thought just came to my mind, what you're doing, and this image came. So I just wanted to confirm. So a lot of, so what I'm trying to say is, there is a reality beyond, right?
Pause,
And
yeah.
we just have to, yeah, we just have to believe in it. And again, coming back to Sushant, on 11th of June, I had written to him that, baby, how are you doing? Look, I went for a hike. This is so beautiful. I sent him the photo of that place. And I was like, baby, tu क्यों नहीं यहाँ पे आ जाता है? मेरे पास आ जाता है. थोड़े दिन के लिए यहाँ पे आ जा. He was like, मुझे बहुत मन करता है, दी. But, somehow I felt that he has to come here. He has to not be there somehow.
Like urgency.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then what happened? 13th ka night, 13th June ka night over here in US. I was lying down and I was restless. Like it might be around 9:30, and I was restless. I was like, what is death? I was asking, like Vishal was there with me at that time. And I was asking him this, what is death? What happens to a person who dies? Where do they go? Until the time I made peace with it, like I reminded myself that Bhagavad Gita ka chapter 2 ka verse 22. Remember chapter 2 ka verse 22, where Krishna says that, uh, death is almost like changing of clothes. You take out the old one, you get into a new one, right?
Yeah.
Death is almost like that. You drop the old body, you get a new body. So I was like, okay, nobody goes anywhere. It's just that, they're changing the body. That's all that is happening. And after that, I was able to sleep. And then, I got a call at night, and like my phone was on Do Not Disturb. My husband got the call, and then then we got to know about this news. And, my husband wasn't there with me. He had gone to restroom. And from there, he kind of shouted, Shweta, Sushant is no more. And, I was there on the bed, and it felt as if there was a strong, like chill. But there, something happened. A blanket of calmness was put on top of me. It was maybe because of the practices I had done. So it does help, meditation practices, spirituality does help. It absorbs the kind, like the shock from you, right? So yeah, yeah, those were the stories that happened, you know related to the deaths of the family members. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad your spiritual practices shielded you from the worst of it. But still,
Mm,
pain is pain. I can hear it in your voice even now. It's always there. So, tell me about the book. You've spoken about universal responsibility. So, what made you write it? What is the purpose?
mm. So you know after the death of my brother, a lot happened. Imagine uh, living a very sheltered life, but all of a sudden you're exposed to all of this media. So many people were messaging me. It was so public. The the pain was so public in a way, and the fact that we didn't know what had really happened, what had conspired, right? That left the wound open. So somebody has like kind of torn you apart and left it open. They have not stitched it back. So no closure, right? And then there were people calling me and telling me that they are depressed, they feel suicidal, they are going through so much pain because of the loss of my brother. You know why people felt this close to Sushant is another thing we could discuss. What was it about him that made people feel like he was their own, right? There was something about him, right? So so of course everybody was feeling as if they have lost their own family member, right? And I saw the pain too. I saw that pain too. There was like, th- because it was such a complex feeling, they were not able to kind of resolve it. Like, what is it? At times it would come out in form of anger, revenge, all those things for you know different people. So I saw that maybe this is not the right way of channeling the pain. I saw that there has to be a better way of dealing with all of this. And because I was practicing that, I wanted that to be kind of helpful for others as well. So I started coming out with messages, and I'll always write something spiritual on my social media, make reels, you know, try to kind of like tell them that pain can be a medium to kind of figure out bigger things in life, higher purpose in life. Just don't waste it in becoming angry or becoming revengeful. Transmute it into power, right? And when I was so I personally took many solitary retreats, 4 of them, 1 month, separate 1 month solitary retreats. So during my first 1 month solitary retreat, I came across this chapter called Universal Responsibility in
This
this
right
Buddhist
after
text.
Sushant, right? Right after Sushant, you went for a month-long retreat, right?
I went. That was year 2021, June.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then over there, when I was reading this chapter, it told that you should just not seek enlightenment for your own good. You should get enlightened so that you can help others as well. And as humans, we have responsibility. We have a universal responsibility because finally, Anuradha, what are we seeking? What all of us are seeking? We all are trying to avoid pain, and we are seeking long lasting happiness. That's what we are seeking, right? But the problem is we are seeking it in all the wrong places, all the wrong places. There are 4 purusharthas mentioned in our scriptures, 4 of them. And the first one is, so what is purushartha? Purushartha is like, when you try to seek happiness, and what are the ways you try to seek happiness? First is calm, right? Calm is just mere pleasure seeking. You can get it from eating a form of like, a rasagulla, right? Or you can get it, reading a very fine book. That is also pleasure seeking, right? And, you know, the problem with pleasure seeking is it's not long lasting. As soon as you eat it, it's gone. The joy is gone. And again, you get dependent on it. So you are dependent on an external thing, and it becomes almost like an addiction, right? So after we have done a lot of pleasure seeking, we move on to artha. Okay. Artha is what? Artha is when, we seek happiness, when we seek joy in money, in fame, in power, in worldly knowledge, right? So for that, like if I want to get into NIF today or IIT today, what we'll do? We'll try to curb our pleasure, right? And we'll work hard towards getting into IIT or NIFT or
Right.
any other,
Yeah.
right? So we have to kind of certain amount of overcoming of pleasure seeking. Then only we can get artha. Once we have gained this, no money, power, fame, we work hard, we gain that. Once we get that, then we realize, happiness इसमें भी नहीं है. It's not like it's long lasting. I have gotten my this beautiful house, I have Tesla, I have this, I have everything, I have but I'm not able to find that joy, that everlasting joy which I was looking for. Then what happens? people become open to, working for others. That's dharma. When you start being of service for others,
Beauty.
right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you work for others, you accumulate a lot of punyas, lot of merit. And because of the accumulation of merit, you get this strong desire of mumukshvatva. That's the fourth one. Okay. First comes kama, artha, dharma, moksha. Moksha, what do you seek in moksha? Moksha, you want like final liberation. You want to know the truth about yourself, what you are in reality. And once you know that, once you have that knowledge, that is when you feel completely satisfied. Once you are living that knowledge, right? That's when you feel completely satisfied, completely like at ease, at peace. All right. So, what we are seeking for is finally happiness and trying to avoid pain. So, when I went there, I, I I kind of felt I'm an empath too, all right? I'm an introvert and an empath. Okay, so for me, coming out and writing a book and, doing, interacting with other people publicly and all that, it's not my cup of tea because I'm an introvert. It's too much stimulation for me,
And plus, as an
right?
empath, you must be feeling it from others also, right? So it must be
Huh?
getting, I'm saying as an empath, you feel others' pain also, right? So it might be getting
A lot.
overwhelming. Yeah.
Overwhelmed. So
Yeah.
right, so correct. So, but then I knew that, this story that I had, it has to be written. People, a lot of people can get benefited by this, right? And they will have a structure, sure, short path of coming out of grief. So I had to do this. That's why I wrote this book.
Yeah. And it's wonderful. As I'm listening to you, that, even through this pain, you said that, it can be a catalyst for, finding your purpose. It's
Yes,
beautiful. And,
yes,
that
yes.
you felt this responsibility to show others the way as well, in the midst of your
Mm-hmm,
own grief. And,
mm-hmm,
since you feel so much, and like in mindfulness, it said that, you're sitting with the pain, and you've also written about it in, in many chapters, you've mentioned this, that you don't escape it, you sit with it, right? And
mm-hmm,
what does grief feel like physically? Because, there are all these, like Elizabeth Kubler-Ross has developed the system, right? So she says there are five
mm-hmm,
stages of grief:
mm-hmm.
denial,
Hmm,
anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So,
hmm.
did you go through each? Which was the most challenging for you, or your own maybe unique experience of grief? How does it feel physically? Because you feel so much from what you're saying. You feel it in every pore of your body. What does it feel like?
Okay. So, imagine somebody has tied a heaviest rock to your heart. Okay. And that rock is kind of sinking, like it's taking your heart down with it. How would you feel? How does it feel? Right? You know, there were nights where I was lying down on my bed and I would have this sinking feeling, as if my heart is sinking. Then I'll get up and then I'll try to, like try to pat my heart, like kind of stroke it so that the pain that is inside it can come out, you know. Uh, so grief is almost like it's physical. Like if you get into a car accident, right? What happens to your physical body? It gets hurt. You feel pain, right? It takes time to heal. Grief is similar, right? Grief takes time to heal. Um, for me, which part was, look, for me, basically, all of this, because of my spiritual practices, all of this kind of did not stay with me as long because I knew that this grief has a bigger and better purpose. But but you, but then I took out time. I took out time to go for Vipassana, to go for these retreats, solitary retreats. So I'll tell you about a little bit about Vipassana and about this solitary retreat I would do. Uh, I used to go to Land of Calm Abiding over here. Okay. It's in Ragged Point and it's like 540 acres of land. Okay. Complete forest. And there are only 5 to 6 cabins there. Hmm. There are 2 cabins occupied by long-term retreaters. One is an Australian old person who has been there for 20 years now. Then there was another nun who has been there for 9 years now. Now, when I used to go there, I'm supposed to like be alone completely. It's almost like, if you go to an Himalayan cave, you get the cave for yourself, right?
You said that you
Uh,
just get your groceries and you just lock yourself up for 1 month. And
1 month. It's almost
yeah,
like a cabin, a little cottage, kutia. You stay there and you work on yourself. You don't get to see anybody. So, no interaction, no seeing others. So, what it does is like, when you're not seeing anybody else, you're not interacting with anybody else. So, first of all, you're stopping the impressions from outside, right? And because you're not talking, you are saving a lot of energy, right? And there is nobody to remind you that you are that Anuradha, this identity, or this Shweta. Nobody's there to remind you that, right? Now what happens when you're not taking in more impressions from outside? Your subconscious mind knows it, that, oh, this is the time when I can bring up all the unresolved issues one by one. Hmm? It's almost like think like, you have a phone and you have many apps open on the phone. So what does it do? It drains your phone. It drains your battery, right? So what do you have to do? You have to close all the apps, right, from the phone. Similarly, in subconscious mind, we have a lot of unresolved mental patterns, which we have not, we have just pushed it there, right? All these traumas and all that is also a huge file that is consuming a lot of energy. And then we feel drained most of the time. We are like, what is this? Why are we feeling so drained, right? It is a big, huge file that is open and which is like you have not closed it yet. So you sit with yourself, let your subconscious mind bring it up, right? And it feels very bad when the subconscious mind brings all these unresolved patterns. It feels it feels it feels very bad to use to tell it simply. It's almost like purging, vomiting. When you vomit, how do you feel? You feel so yucky about it. But once you have vomited, you feel lighter, right? You feel purer. It's
mhm.
almost like that. It's almost like mental purging. Now, what happens? You need to be very, very courageous and you need to have faith in the knowledge. So, before diving in with, like, if you really want to work with yourself, you should equip yourself with these tools. Tools of what? Tools of spirituality, of spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge of what? Of what you are in reality. When you know that you're not this mental patterns, you're not this mind, right? Then, and you are the awareness behind the mind, then you'll be able to kind of stay with all these, whatever is brimming up. Otherwise, you'll get pulled by it, smitten by it, seduced by it, and you'll be gone with it. So, have that grounding very deep in you, that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not this character, the identity you're playing in this world, but you are the awareness behind this, behind all of this, right? Then that helps you, because when all these emotions will be coming, painful emotions, oh my god, I lost my brother, I will never be able to see him again, right? Will never be able to touch him again, see that beautiful smile, feel him again, like like holding his hand. never, we'll be able to have the same kind of festivity, right? Together as a family, we'll always feel his loss, right? All these are too much to take. It's almost like, when you lose one of your limbs, how would you feel, right? It's something is missing, something is missing. It can just blow you away, take you away, swipe you away. But what knowledge helps you finally? The knowledge that you are not these mental patterns, these thoughts, these emotions. You are the awareness, right? That helps you. So you stay with the awareness, let all of this brim up, come up, and pass through you. One more thing that actually God helped me with, again, it was fall of 2022. And I was again on one of these solitary retreats. And, when I was deep in meditation, after 2.5 hours of meditation, this I started feeling very pukish because I was feeling very uh, unsettling. There was this unsettled feeling. I was like, what is happening? Right? And so much of emotion started coming, every unconscious pattern that I had lived, and even if it was of others who kind of exercised their unconscious pattern on me, that all everything came up, one by one, one by one, one by one. And it's not just your unconscious patterns. If somebody has been unconscious with you, that will also come up because you were a part of it in a way. You get it? So uh, I started feeling very, very sick to my stomach. I was like, what is happening? I was like, okay, I'll see it through. Then kind God helped me in a way. He told me, he showed me two visions. Okay, I'll tell you the visions. First vision was that there was this teenage girl, okay, and she was going through this forest and she saw a snake, okay, and first of all, she felt a lot of fear. But somebody had told her that don't feel a fear when you see animals because they can sense your fear. Instead, feel a lot of love for them. And she practiced that. She practiced love in her heart during that time. And that snake actually sensed it and it didn't hurt her or attack her. It just went away. And she learned something new at that time. Oh, experientially. That was, and it was shown to me that she was my great great grandmother. Okay. And that learning of her also got encoded in her DNA, which was passed on to us, right? And then again, the other vision that I saw was of her. She was burning in this fire, and the agony she was feeling and whatever she was going through, I felt that, right? At that time when I was meditating, I was like, oh my God, this doesn't feel good. That trauma, her trauma, that also got encoded in her DNA and that also got passed, in our genes. Now, what God told me was, look, what you think you are just this individuality, you are not this. Your ancestors are living through you right now. Now, right? They are, whatever you are doing, it's actually in a way kind of inspired by their learnings or their traumas, right? So don't think you are just this. You are just continuation of your ancestry, right? And they are trying to liberate their unresolved patterns through you. They are betting on you that maybe you will be the one who, and it's not individuality as such, individual as such. It's more like patterns, mental patterns that get passed on. We are just blob of that finally, you know like as individual, but as awareness we are pure, we are Satchitanand, right? And that's what we have to finally ground ourselves in that reality. We have to tame our monkey mind, you know yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to actually do it in a um, very beautiful way, not like, we are hitting the monkey and then trying to tame it. No, we have to make friends with the monkey. In a way, you see it like that there is a little boy who has gotten hurt and has fallen somewhere. Now, how would you treat that boy? Will you scold that boy for getting hurt or something? No, right? You will tell that boy, no, no, it's okay. Come sit, let me see what has happened. Where is the wound and all. That's how we have to, train our mind. We have to sit with the mind. We have to sit with these unresolved patterns. We have to tend carefully to them, right? Let them liberate these like themselves. By coming up, it will liberate itself. You just don't move from this seat of awareness. Just know that you're not this pattern, you're the awareness, and just let them liberate themselves.
Yeah, you've written basically about treating yourself with loving kindness, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. When you can treat yourself with that loving kindness, that's only when you will be able to treat others with that loving kindness. Otherwise, it's not possible. It's not possible.
yeah. And
Right?
you've also, like what you're saying, that you're not this body, you're not this identity itself. So I see
Hmm.
that, you've written that Shweta's feeling this, you're observing yourself, you know,
Hmm, hmm, hmm,
Shweta's not
hmm.
happy or
This
Shweta's feeling this. Yeah,
individuality.
yeah. So, when you come, you also talk about non-duality and, this universal consciousness.
Hmm,
How do you come back? You have children, you have a husband, you have family,
hmm, hmm,
a
hmm,
large family, very close
hmm,
family. How do you come back to
hmm.
the state of attachment from detachment?
Okay, that's a good question. Detachment, I don't feel detachment is when you give up things, when you disown things. Detachment is when things do not own you. It's a state of mind, I feel. Honestly, again, I'll tell you frankly about myself. Uh, I deeply love God. And, because of this, I have experienced beautiful states of consciousness, states of mind. You can call it samadhi, where, I'm completely absorbed in that sense of I am the awareness. And Anu, I cannot tell you how beautiful, how divine, how majestic that is, how it makes you feel. When when you're staying with the sense of I am, you just have to hold on there with that feeling that okay, I exist, right? The only permanent thing in us is existence, my existence. Other than that, there is nothing permanent in our life. Everything comes and goes. Emotions come, people will come, things will come, and they will go as well. The only thing that has been permanent in our life is the awareness that is experiencing all of it, right? We can never deny that. Now, we have to stay with that awareness that I am. And if you don't let your mind flicker just even a bit, you just stay with that, what happens is something comes up from within and it absorbs you. And the amount of joy and ecstasy you feel it in every cell of your body. It starts vibrating with that extreme joy, and then you lose the sense of physicality, and that starts to expand. Imagine if you had tasted something like that, and it is not dependent on anything. You are sitting with yourself and you're tasting that is within you. So will you ever be attached to anything else? Can there be? It will not happen. It will just not happen, because you have tasted something so divine within, so like amrit within, that attachment doesn't happen then. It's more like role playing. You play this, then you get attached to that. And what, these this kind of people actually can really unconditionally love, because the sense of I am, the awareness that you feel, you finally find out that awareness that you are is what everyone is. There is nothing apart from this awareness. Okay, to explain this, I'll give you a very wonderful analogy. Okay, there are 4 steps to it. Okay, you start with a pot. Start with a pot. Okay. Ab now, the second step is to find out the material cause of the pot. Okay, the material cause of the pot is clay. The third part is you investigate the pot. The inside of the pot is clay, the down part is clay, the outside is clay, like bottom, anywhere you touch, whatever you touch, it's clay, right? Now, if I tell you, Anuradha, you keep the pot and give me the clay. Just give me the clay, you keep the pot. Is there something to be kept? I take away the clay. Can you keep the pot?
It's gone.
Gone, right? Can you name it a pot? If I take away the clay, can you name it a pot?
No.
No. Can you use it for a function of drinking water or storing water or anything like that?
No.
No, right? So name, form, function, these three things are gone, right? These 3 things are gone. If the clay is taken, name, form, and function does not have its own existence apart from clay, right? Now, the 4th point is nothing new has been created. So why to call it a pot? Why can we can simply call it clay, right? Why are we calling it a pot, a new thing? Nothing new has been created. Now, why are we talking about this clay and pot? Now you'll be able to understand this whole universe and the awareness, and you will see that this whole universe is not apart from the awareness that you are. Let's start with this world. Right now, you might be seeing your computer or laptop or, like phone in front of you. What do you have in front of you?
Yeah, my laptop, yeah.
Okay, so see the laptop. That's the material world right now. Okay, that's the first step. What was the second step? In second step, we tell you the material cause. I am telling you the material cause of the laptop right now is your awareness. Let's call it your awareness.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So that is the material cause. Now we will investigate it. Let's investigate it deeply. What is happening? If I tell you, remove your awareness. Remove your awareness. Will there be a laptop outside of you? If the awareness is not there, will there be outside of you? Will you be able to experience it?
Yeah, no, I mean, it ceases to exist, yeah.
It ceases to exist. You might tell, no, that laptop can be still in someone else's consciousness, somebody else's awareness, right? There might be other person experiencing the laptop. But where is that other person? That other person not also in your awareness? You remove the awareness, if the awareness, you are gone from the picture, you will not experience anything there. Everything is dependent on you, the awareness, right? So fourth point being, there is nothing new that has been created. This universe is you, the awareness.
Yeah,
This
take away
pot
yourself
is the
and
clay.
nothing is there. Yeah.
So everything you are seeing is awareness taken that form. Your awareness taken that form. Just like in, it will become very easy to understand it. Just like in dream state, what do? We project a whole world out there. We project our friends. We'll project a landscape, a desert, a palm tree, a car, cars running. All of it is your mental projection. You are projecting that in your dream. You also become a part of it. You take a body there. You also start talking, and then that time also you feel you're just that individuality, who
It's
you are
very
playing
real.
in that.
Yeah.
It's very real. You feel it in your body. You feel being a part of it. But where is it? It's all your projection, isn't it? Isn't it? It's all your mental projection. Similarly, this world is awareness. Right now, when you know that all of this is you only, the kind of love you will feel for everyone, the kind of unconditional love you'll feel for everyone. Other than this love, any love you do for others is kind of, play. It's not real. It's not coming from heart. It's more like play, right? This love is unconditional. Why? Because you know for a fact that the other person is you. Her pain is your pain. Her joy is your joy. If she's achieving something, you are achieving that, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. Especially because, you're one with the universe, really, and everything around you. Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
You also, spoke about generational trauma, ancestral trauma, stored trauma. And,
Mm.
you've also like very candidly talked about, being the fifth girl child in your family. And all
Yes.
your parents really, thought of you as very precious. Your grandmother was not very happy. And, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah.
you also had that craving, like you're saying, for unconditional love.
Love. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That is true. That is true. You know what, Anuradha? I'm blessed. I'm in a way blessed to have that in me. In a way that kind of stroked my love for God, you know. And uh, and I remember from the very beginning, from the very as far as I can remember, as a child also, I would always cry for God. So till in my life, I have cried the most for God, shed the most tears for God, for being one with God. I have always felt that sense of separateness, like that we were one sometime and then God separated me and sent me here. you know so this question was always there, and this question came to me in a very prominent way when I was in Dakshineshwar, right? Where I kept asking God, God, why did you separate me from you? Why did you separate me from you? What wrong did I do that you separated me from you? And I'll tell you that story in short. So what happened was I cracked the written examination of NIFT, and I was supposed to go for the situational test and interview to Kolkata. Okay. And because my sister was Rubidi, the second one was getting married. So because of the Rajput family, and it's huge, the marriage is huge. So nobody was there actually to take me to, Kolkata. Everybody was busy in the wedding preparation. So, I started crying and I was telling God, God, what is this? I worked so hard, I got into it. Now, nobody is there to take me for the interview. So he was like, don't worry, I'll take care of everything. So I used to talk to God like this, as if I'm talking to you. I would talk to God like this from very childhood. And, the thing is that whatever he'll tell me, that will actually happen. He was like, don't worry, I'll take care of everything. Immediately after that point, Pinky Didi called she used to stay in Kolkata and she was married to, officer, and everything was arranged for me beautifully, like the place I'll be living in, the cook who'll be there, who'll be cooking, and the car which will take me to lift. Everything was beautifully planned, you know. And then, this one also was planned that I'll go to the temple, Dakshineshwar Temple. I didn't know anything about it at that time, what is this temple? Who is I didn't know that it was related to Ramakrishna and Shardama and all that. Nothing I knew. I just went there. And as soon as I went there, when I touched the wall of the temple, I still remember it's white. And as soon as I touched the wall, tears started flowing out. I was like, what is happening? I got very embarrassed because I was a teenager then, and there was a huge line there, and everybody was seeing me, and I kept crying. And firstly, I was very embarrassed, but by the time I came in front of Ma, I was like, okay, let what people think. I'm just gonna cry, burst out crying like a child, like a kid. And there was this priest. So there is always a priest standing, and you have to follow the line, follow the queue, and then you have to exit from the right hand side. So the priest had something in his hand, and then he put it on my head like this, and I just fell there. You're not supposed to even stand there, like just quickly, bow down and leave. But I just kind of collapsed there, and I kept crying. My heart was so heavy, it was like almost wrenched out, you know. And I kept asking, why did you separate me from you? You have to answer, otherwise, I'm not leaving. And I was a very, very stubborn child, very adamant. I was like, till the time you don't answer me, I'm gonna die here. I'm not gonna leave. Right. So, so what happened was, I saw this lady coming from right hand side. That is the exit. Nobody can come from that, and so packed that you cannot actually even walk down that way. It's impossible. But she was walking down somehow, and she was wearing white sari, all white. Her hair was also white. Okay, that I saw from corner of my eyes, not like directly. So what happened was, I saw her from corner of my eyes, and she came very close, and almost like she was about to fall, she kept her hand on my head, like top of my head. And as soon as she did that, I felt so fulfilled. So, like if something is burning inside you and somebody puts water on top of it, how would you feel? Quenched and relaxed and peaceful. That's how I felt, like a shower of moonlight, almost like that. And after that, I looked up to see who she was. She had vanished by then. She was nowhere. I was like, what happened? Then I got up and I started to leave the temple. And at that time, I was very, very thin. Okay. And the crowd was so that, I almost got like squished, completely squished. Okay. But somebody held my hand and pulled me out. I don't still know who did that. As soon as it came out, I saw Chunu Bhaiya standing right in front of me. I was like, भैया आपने निकाला मुझे? बोलते नहीं नहीं मैं तो तुम्हारा तब से यहाँ पे वेट कर रहा तुम कहाँ थी? Right? So somebody held my hand, pulled me out, and all that. At that time, I was also very ready. At that time, I thought when I was getting squished, I thought, okay, fine, I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna die in, God's abode. I'm happy with that, you know. But somebody pulled me out. So, this is in a way a beautiful story because it tells me that, my heart was always set on God, right? So, this pain that, like of being loved, my mom loved me. It's not that my mom didn't love me. My mom did love me, but, you know, we, even if we are loved by a lot of people, we crave that, unconditional love, that love that is always there with us, you know, that we don't have to work towards, right? So I'm happy that that thing was always there in me. I remember a story I read somewhere where, Krishna ji asked Kunti, the mother of Pandavas, that ask me anything, any boon, and I'm going to give it to you. So, you know what she asked for? She asked for that give me this boon that I be born with this pang of pain in my heart every janma till the time I realize you. You know, imagine this what she was asking for. The pain that will remind you that, you have to work towards God realization. You have to become one with God. Till that time, that pain will keep you restless. Right?
Yeah, that's so profound. Tell me, Shweta, you share a close relationship with God. What is God for you?
Oh my God, such a beautiful question, Anuradha, such a beautiful question. Okay. Like when I was child, I told you, right? I would write in my diary that I am an Atman. I have to become one with Paramatma, right? The sole purpose of my life is God realization, right? And as a child, I remember always, whenever I would see any mandir, any masjid, any church, whatever. I studied from St. Karen's, so there was chapel and all that. So I would fold my hands and I'll ask God, God, please be with me always. Please be with me always. मेरे साथ हमेशा रहना भगवान, हमेशा रहना भगवान. This what I'll ask from God. And imagine when I started studying Vedanta and all these scriptures, I got to know that the love I crave, the prayer I asked for, is actually that the awareness I am is God. God I was asking for to be with me all the time. Imagine I got to know that He has always been with me all along, right? It's just that I have to find time, space, energy to kind of be in union with it. It's always available to me. That was very, very beautiful when I found out. It was like a real revelation that I have never been apart from Him. And in deep meditation, I tell myself, when my mind is flickering a lot, I tell myself, look, if you really love God and if you really want God, if you're a real lover of God, then embrace that awareness as if there is no tomorrow. Be there. Don't move at all. I tell my mind, don't move at all from that awareness. Let not any thought arise in your mind, right? Then only you can prove that you are a real lover of God. So it's easier to get into that deepest state of samadhi.
Yeah. Tell me, the foreword to your book is by Swami Sarvapriyananda. And
Hmm.
so how important is a guru in your journey?
So my guru, he is definitely my Vedanta teacher. Uh, for me, my guru has always been Krishna. From very early on, I have always felt this closeness to Krishna. And, as the teaching, the most profound teaching I have ever come across, and I have read a lot of scriptures uh, and different, religion and philosophy, all of that too. Ramana Maharishi's teachings are the most direct, the most powerful, and he's not doing any kind of fabrication or anything. He's telling you the truth, and if you can follow it, if your heart is pure enough, it's a sure short way of getting enlightened. And after you have seen that, after you have had that realization, right, you have gotten the tattva gyan, right? There are three things to it. First, you have to have the tattva gyan. That is a realization, that is enlightenment. Okay. Then there is vasnakshay, and then there is manonasha. Vasnakshay and manonasha is basically where you are completely focusing on purifying your mind deeply. So all these vasanas, and these vasanas need not be just yours. It will be your ancestral vasanas also, which are living through you. You have to transmute it. Okay, transmute it into something beautiful. All right, and that that is the stabilization process. So once you have had this breakthrough, you have to now stabilize in that. So there was one time that I had this profound experience of deepest samadhi, and I felt that Krishna had guided me through it. I stayed in that state even after I came out of the samadhi. I stayed in that state for a month, like it's called as Sahaj Samadhi. I didn't have to put any effort, nothing, you know. I didn't have to put any effort. It became effortless for me. This continuous sprouting of happiness, the fountain was like just sprouting. And I always felt, oh my God, like even when I was walking, I would feel as if, I'm not walking, it's just happening. Everything was so pristine, so ecstatic. So I know that it is possible. That stabilization is possible. So, yeah. So it's the whole process, That's when I actually got to know about Vajrayana. I don't know if you know about this. I talk about rainbow body too. Let me explain you that a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you know, there has been three turnings of wheel in Buddhism. The first being Hinayana. Hinayana just simply means, lower vehicle. Lower vehicle carries you from one part to your destination, right? One place to your destination. So in Hinayana, they mostly practice sutra studies. It's called as the practice of the elders. That's Hinayana for you. The second turning of the wheel was Mahayana. Mahayana is higher vehicle, right? What do you do in higher vehicle? You study the sutras and you even practice the compassion. So you are not only getting enlightened for yourself, but you are getting enlightened for good of the world. Okay, you have to serve the world you know that's the main purpose. That's Mahayana. Vajrayana is the third turning of the wheel, where it's the tantric practices. Okay, the six yogas of Naropa, if you would have heard, right? So what it does is it completely, so you work with this body of yours and it completely purifies the body itself, because why we have taken this body is not very, like, if you practice Vipassana, you will understand these body is not physicality, it's just sensations, right? You have taken this body is just vasanas, it's a kind of blob of vasanas, and what you are doing is you're transmuting it one by one, you are letting it go, right? That is Vajrayana. And that rainbow body practices when you visualize that clear light, and you let it seep in. That what has So this had already happened to me. Okay, so when I get absorbed, I actually see this light, this golden white light.
Right.
And I'm not trying to see it. It happens like that. It's not that I'm actually visualizing a light. No, no, no. I'm not. I'm just focusing on the sense of I am and where is it rising from in the body. Just that point. And I'm just fixed on that. And this light comes and it absorbs you. So this is actually called as clear light in Tibetan Buddhism. And this light has to completely purify each and every pore of your body. That's purification. It's called as Vishuddhi Maga. Vishuddhi, Shuddha is
Purification.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Hmm.
complete purification. That's when you're able to live like a Jivan Mukta.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
also, talked about conscious parenting, and you run Damara Kids for mindfulness for children. So I was also wondering, when Sushant's death it took place in the public
Mm,
eye, how did you
mm,
talk about it to your children, nieces, nephews, other people, and how should whoever's listening in? You said when your sister passed away when you were very small, you didn't know how to cope with it. So how does
mm.
one talk about death to children?
That's again a very good question. I have always, like, from the very beginning, I have, and even when they were in my tummy, when I was pregnant with them, I used to meditate a lot. So, I feel that you have to give that kind of space to them, create that kind of space for them, right? And they have seen me, like, from very childhood, they have seen me meditate. I have this meditation room where I'll be always sitting here meditating and all. So they have seen me do this, right? And talks about that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not these patterns, these emotions, you are the awareness and the presence. They have heard it all through. So instead of me telling them, Nirvan was telling me, no, Mama, don't worry, Mamu has not gone anywhere, Mamu is here only. He was telling me that,
That's so
right?
beautiful, really. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all we have to do, we have to live it so that we can teach it in a way. Till the time you're just using your words to tell them what to do, that doesn't work. You have to imbibe those teachings in your own life. That's when kids learn. Actually, if you know, the first 7 years of children's life is the most formative years, right? They are in theta brainwave state, and they completely download whatever is given to them without any filtering. So they don't judge nothing, they just download it. So that is a very, very crucial time when you are, however you are living, they're gonna take it all in. Yeah.
Yeah. And Shweta, in the beginning, you talked about, not being able to find closure. And so now, it's been some time, you've been through your spiritual practice and you've written this book also about
Hmm.
transmuting pain into power and purpose. So, how
Hmm.
is it now? Do you feel like you found closure around Sushant's passing? And
Okay, so
yeah,
hmm,
do you feel his
go ahead,
presence?
go
You've
ahead.
also written in the beginning, about how he came in a dream and that helped you resolve a lot of things. So, how is it
Yeah, yeah.
now?
Okay. So, look, on this realm, on this transactional realm, of course, we haven't found closure. We really don't know what happened to him that night, like my night and his morning. I really don't know what happened to him. We still, because, there are many open questions like, how did it happen?
Yeah,
The very first question I asked when I heard this, like, I gave it time, but I did ask this to my sisters, like, was there a stool that was there? Because, without a stool, how can somebody do that? Like, one has to tie and, and all that. And if there was no stool and the bed and the fan gap, the distance wasn't that much, then even if he did, like put his uh, leg like that, hang it, once the survival instinct kicks in, you will, just put your leg on top of the bed. It's just impossible that you won't do that. So all these questions were there in my mind, still there, and I am hoping that CBI will answer them for me, for us, for all of us. We need that closure, right? We still don't know. We still don't know what happened.
yeah,
But on a higher level, I do, I do have found this closure. I know that, there is this higher self, and we are all part of this higher self. So Bhai has not gone anywhere. He is with me. He's living in me. He now earlier, we were separated from this body, like physically we were separated. We had two different bodies. Now he has become me. There is no separation, no division, right? So that's that is beautiful in a way. And the one when you talked about when I had a dream about him, I do see him in my dreams very often. And the last time he came in my dreams, he told me that, Didi, don't stay in your head as much. Stay in your heart. It's better place to be. You know, That was like that. That was quite profound, When you are living from your heart, that's when you are actually living. Once you're just up here, you are mostly feeling, feeling the separateness, right? Separate individuality. I am separate from others, and I want to pursue my dreams, my desires, forming more and more solidified, distinct individuality, right? And that has never given anybody satisfaction, anybody any joy, till the time you actually dissolve. And the dissolving happens only when you come to your heart center, where you are basically working for love, through love. And that's the purpose of your life. You want to spread love and joy.
yeah. Love is the purpose. Yeah,
Yes.
beautiful. Yeah. And so, Shweta, finally, any message that you want to give Sushant's fans and our listeners on how to, power through grief, turn it into something beautiful like you have?
Yes, yes. First of all, this book is very powerful. It has come from the depth of my heart. So, this is everything I have to say is in there in this book, Pain, A Portal to Enlightenment. And secondly, I want to actually thank them. I want to thank them because, Anuradha, in this whole journey, they were they were always there uplifting me, telling me positive things, you know, being a real family. I feel so, so very honored, so very loved. Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I don't have anything to say, actually. I just wanted to thank them for being there and for
Yeah.
being who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really nice. Thank you, Shweta, for, sharing your journey of pain and, love, basically, loving kindness. Thank you so much for being so honest.
Thank you. Thank you.